HMS Amethyst was a third-class protected cruiser of the Topaze class of the Royal Navy. She was launched in 1903, served during World War I at the Dardanelles and Gallipoli in the Mediterranean and the South Atlantic. She was sold for scrap in 1920. Construction. She was laid down in January 1903 at Armstrong. Ellsworth was launched on 5 November 1903 and was completed in March 1905. Until Amethyst was built, the largest warships fitted with steam turbines were destroyers. The use in Amethyst reduced overall range at 10 knots by 1,500 nautical miles, but increased it by 1,000 nautical miles at 20 knots, compared with her sister ships. World War I Battle of Heligoland. Once World War I broke out in 1914, HMS Amethyst was assigned to the Harwich Force of the Royal Navy. She participated in the Battle of Heligoland under the command of Commodore Reginald Tyrwhitt. Later that year she was transferred to the 1st Light Cruiser Squadron of the Royal Navy. Dardanelles Campaign. Minesweeping operations. Amethyst took part in the covering operation for the minesweeping effort in the Dardanelles and during the action on 1 March and 4 March 1915 she exchanged fire with Turkish forts. On the evening of 4 March she took on board injured personnel of the landing party and discharged them the next day into Usudin and Braemar Castle. During the hours of darkness between 6 and the 11th of March she took part in operations in the Dardanelles against mines, and was regularly in action against field artillery, forts and searchlights. On the 14th of March at 4:10 she was hit by field artillery and lost 22 men killed. A further 38 men were wounded, of whom 4 later died. Amethyst retired to Tenedos for repairs. The captain, Commander G. J. Todd, and Lieutenant James C. J. Souter, Senior Lieutenant, were commended in the Naval Dispatch dated 17 March 1914 from Vice Admiral Carden. Gallipoli landings. On 24 April 1915 Amethyst and her sister ship Sapphire embarked soldiers and landed them by trawler at Y Beach on the northwest shore of the Gallipoli Peninsula in the early morning of 25 April. She supported the British troops ashore with gunfire until 27 April by bombarding enemy positions. By mid-morning on 27 April, with the situation on the beach described as desperate, surviving troops were beginning to come back on board. Amethyst took on board over 250 officers and men, many of them wounded. Over the following days, Amethyst continued to provide support to the operations on W, Y and Z beaches. On 3 May she lay off Z beach and reported heavy gunfire on shore and large caliber enemy shells landing in the proximity of the British ships. On the night of 5 May, troops were taken from Z beach for redeployment to X and Y beaches. Amethyst's last part in the landings occurred on 18 May when she proceeded up the Gulf of Adramide in the early hours, accompanied by destroyers. Arriving at Asia Bay just after 5 o'clock, she sent an armed party away in boats to investigate the possibility of removing enemy lighters, but they returned 20 minutes later reporting that a sandbar prevented them from being moved. 2 enemy oil tanks were demolished by gunfire, and at 6:45 an enemy field gun battery opened fire. Amethyst replied, silencing the guns, but was hit with the loss of 1 rating killed and 4 wounded. Mediterranean. After conducting patrols from Brindisi during June and July 1915, Amethyst went into dry dock for a refit from 28 July until 17 August. She returned to Brindisi on 15 September and was present there on 27 September when the Italian battleship Benedetto Brin exploded at the Boys Inn, the outer harbour. Amethyst's boats assisted in in rescuing the survivors. For much of the autumn of 1915, Amethyst stayed in port and acted a temporary depot ship for British submarines passing through on patrol. On the 19th of November, Amethyst headed towards Malta and thence to Gibraltar, arriving on the 27th of November. On the 1st of December she set out for Portsmouth, and then on the 11th of December for Barrow-in-Furness, where she moored up in Devonshire Dock. She remained there until the 14th of March 1916, when she headed south to Plymouth, then Bilbao, and arriving in Gibraltar on the 23rd of March. South America. In 1916, Commander Edward Unwin took command. He had earned a Victoria Cross in the Gallipoli campaign. Amethyst was assigned to South America, and left Gibraltar on 8 May 1916. On the 23rd of November 1916, Commander, the Earl of Glasgow, took over command whilst the ship was stationed at Vicosa Reef, off the coast of Brazil. In December 1916, Amethyst, supported by two armed merchant cruisers, HMS Macedonia and HMS Arama, and two colliers, SS Minia and SS Dalim, was ordered to search from the German raider HMS Mo. On the 9th of January, Mo sank the collier Minia, and when she failed to rendezvous with the rest of the squadron, a search was begun. The squadron returned to the port of Bahia without success. A further attempt to find Mo was made on the 24th of January, when Amethyst was joined by Glasgow, but this was also unsuccessful. Patrols to search for German surface raiders were also conducted in April and May 1917. After a long stay in Rio de Janeiro, Amethyst sailed on the 5th of April 1918, patrolling down the coast, inspecting vessels, and arriving in Montevideo on the 10th of March. On the 31st of May 1918, Amethyst left Bahia, Brazil, to return to Devonport. On the way home, she met HMS Britannia off the coast of Sierra Leone, and 295 cases of gold bullion were loaded on board. She arrived in Devonport on the 25th of June. On the 1st of July 1918, Amethyst left Devonport for Barrow-in-Furness, where she went into dry dock for the remainder of the war. Post-World War I, Amethyst was recommissioned on the 20th of November 1918, and on the way to Gibraltar she stopped at Lisbon for the funeral of the late President of Portugal, Sidónio Paes, on the 21st of December. Fate. She paid off for the last time on the 10th of February 1919 at Malta, and was sold for scrap on the 1st of October 1920. In the November, under tow on her way to the breakers at Milford Haven, the tow parted in a gale and heavy seas, and the new key lifeboat took off 7 of Amethyst's 8 crew. The captain was taken off 2 days later, in the continuing storm by Aberystwyth lifeboat.